My name is Randall Eggert. This class is Grammar and Stylistics. It's about writing clearly.
Verb phrases. In this video, we're going to be looking at verb phrases, which are a subsentential unit. So we know the sentences are built up of words, but words aren't just put in a linear order. There's also a hierarchical order, and that's where phrases come in. Words combine together to form these units that are phrases, and those phrases combine together to ultimately build up to the level of a sentence. Verb phrases are an important part of language. We typically divide a sentence into two units. There's the subject on the one hand and the predicate. Subjects are noun phrases, predicates are verb phrases. The verb phrase, the predicate, typically ascribes a property to the subject. The other thing we need to know about verb phrases is at their essence, at their core, there is a head verb, a single head verb. There may be more than one verb in any given verb phrase, but there's always going to be only one head verb. That's the essence of any verb phrase. We can look at the structure of a verb phrase. Again, there's going to be that single head verb, but we also see these parentheses. And those parentheses indicate that these are optional elements. So for example, we can have auxiliary verbs at the very beginning of a verb phrase, up to 3 of them in fact. So auxiliary verbs are verbs like the be verb, as in is sleeping, or the have verb, as in has slept. We can also get modal verbs like will sleep, must sleep, can sleep, and ultimately we can combine 3 of them up together like will have been sleeping. Okay, we can also get an adverb right in front of a verb. We could also get an adverb after a verb, and we can also get a preposition phrase at the end of a verb phrase. What we also see is this bracketed element right here. The complement, and notice that that's spelled with an E immediately after the L, not an I. This isn't something that says nice things about the verb. This is something that completes the verb. So this comes from the mathematical notion of a complement, something that completes a set. So in order for a verb to be complete, in a sense, to form a verb phrase, it obligatorily needs a complement. But we have to put it in brackets because there can be all sorts of different types of complements depending on the verb. And that's what we're going to spend most of our time talking about in this video. So the verb complement is what completes the verb. The type of phrase that the complement is depends on the verb. So intransitive verbs don't have any complement. They are complete by themselves, like sleep. I slept. It's a complete sentence right there. It's got a subject, I, and it's got the predicate, sleep. You can also have a transitive verb, though. And a transitive verb requires a noun phrase complement. In other words, an object. Some verbs take a preposition phrase complement. Or it could take another verb phrase right after it. Or it could take a subordinate clause. So a subordinate clause is a sentence that attaches to a larger sentence. I think of it as a parasite of sorts. It needs an independent clause in order to have a subordinate clause. Let's look at some examples. So an intransitive verb, there's no complement there. The baby burped, the baby sighed, the baby slept. A transitive verb needs a noun phrase complement, an object. The baby drank milk. The baby said its first word. The baby kissed her mother. You can also take a preposition phrase complement. The baby depends on his father. The baby ventured into the box. The baby dreams of his teddy. Could take a verb phrase complement. The baby likes eating fruit. The baby wanted to crawl. The baby tried to open the door. And it could take a subordinate clause complement. The baby wonders whether lower taxes stimulate demand. The baby believes the dog is a cat. The baby hopes that the pacifier is not sentient. In all of the examples we just looked at, except for intransitive verbs that don't require a complement, in all of those other cases, that verb needs something to complete it, or it's not going to form a full predicate, meaning that it can't form a full sentence by combining with a subject. So in all of those cases, there had to be something after the verb to make it a complete sentence.